For as long as we can remember, we've thought of viruses as the enemy, right? These tiny, invisible agents of sickness and chaos. But what if we've been looking at them completely wrong? What if these microscopic invaders could be hijacked, transformed from a plague into a programmable tool? A tool so powerful it could heal our bodies and maybe even rewrite the code of human evolution itself. This is the world of viral nanonites, and it's a lot closer than you might think. So let's get into how it all works.
We've all seen it in science fiction, right? These tiny little robots, nanites that swarm through your body, repairing damage at a cellular level. It sounds so futuristic. But the funny thing is, nature kind of beat us to it. Its version is called a virus. And at their core, that's exactly what they are, biological nanites. Their entire purpose is to get inside a cell and deliver a new set of instructions. All we have to do is learn how to write the code.
So how do we even begin to reframe a virus from this terrifying threat into a precision tool? Well, it all starts by understanding what a virus actually is when you strip it down to its most basic parts.
At its heart, a virus is just stunningly simple. You can think of it like a molecular courier service. It's this tiny protein package, and inside that package there's a message, a little string of DNA or RNA. The package's only job is to find the right address, the host cell, and deliver that message. That's it. That's the whole job.
And this right here, this is the light bulb moment. The virus itself isn't inherently evil. The danger comes from the instructions it carries, that malicious code that tells our cells to just make more viruses, usually destroying the cell along the way. But what if we could swap out that malicious code with a new, constructive program? Suddenly, that very same delivery system, that same courier, transforms from a weapon into a life-saving tool.
Now, this whole concept really hinges on one huge, fundamental idea, that we need to start seeing our own biology, our DNA, as more than just a blueprint for life. We need to see it as programmable information.
We all learn that DNA is the code of life, but it's also a storage device. And not just any storage device. It is by far the most efficient and dense information storage system we know of. It blows away any hard drive we've ever even dreamed of building.
You want to put that into perspective? Just 1 single gram of DNA, 1 gram, could theoretically hold 200 petabytes of data. That is enough to store every movie ever made, every song ever recorded, every book ever written, all of it combined. When you realize that life is built on a medium that powerful, the idea of writing our own biological software starts to feel a whole lot less like fiction.
And this gives us this incredible new metaphor. If a genetic disease, something like cancer, is basically a bug, a corrupted line of code in our body's operating system, then a reprogrammed virus, our viral nanite, becomes the ultimate patch. It doesn't just treat symptoms. It goes in, finds the faulty code, and literally overwrites it with the correct instructions. It debugs our biology.
Okay, so how does this actually go from a cool idea to a practical medical tool? I mean, how exactly would we use these nanites to go after diseases that, right now, we consider incurable?
Well, you could imagine a therapeutic program running in 3 distinct phases. First up, seek and destroy. The nanites are programmed to hunt down and identify only cancer cells, leaving healthy tissue completely alone. Then they trigger those cancer cells to self-destruct. Second, a restore mode kicks in, activating our body's own natural pathways to repair any damaged tissue. And finally, and this part is absolutely crucial for safety, a self-destruct mode. Once the job is done, the nanites deactivate and are just cleared away by the body. Mission complete.
And listen, this isn't some far-flung dream for 100 years from now. Scientists today, right now, are already building these individual components. They're using amazing tools like CRISPR gene editing and synthetic biology to create these programmable viral systems. A tri-mode healing program like this is really just the logical next step, putting all these existing pieces together into one powerful system.
Okay, so we've debugged the system, we've healed the body. But once you can repair, the next question is kind of obvious, isn't it? Can you upgrade?
No, really, think about that for a second. Once we have a delivery system that can safely and precisely rewrite our genetic code to fix mistakes, what's to stop us from writing new code to add new features? Why just restore us to our baseline when we could potentially upgrade our biology?
And the best part is, nature has already done all the R&D for us. Evolution has produced this incredible library of abilities. You've got owls with genes for seeing in near total darkness. Salamanders can regenerate entire limbs. The tiny little tardigrade produces proteins that make it insanely resistant to radiation. Seals have the code for unbelievable oxygen efficiency. These aren't magic tricks. They're biological programs. Programs we could, theoretically, learn to install on ourselves.
You see, this represents a fundamental shift in how life itself changes. Natural evolution is slow, it's random, it's undirected, it takes millions of years. But programmable evolution, that would be intentional and directed. Instead of just hoping for a random mutation over millennia, we could design, test, and implement a biological trait we want all within a single generation. We would effectively be taking the driver's seat of our own evolution.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Is he talking about creating monstrous human-animal hybrids? But the science behind this is actually way more elegant and controlled than that. There's a pretty clear blueprint for how this could be done safely.
Let's be really clear. This isn't about just copying a gene from an owl and pasting it into a human. That would be crude and probably really dangerous. Now, using synthetic biology, we can study the owl's gene, understand how it produces that amazing night vision, and then write a brand new synthetic version of that code, one that's designed from the ground up to work safely and effectively inside human biology. It's translation, not transplantation.
And the process itself would be incredibly methodical. First, you'd catalog the traits you're interested in from nature's library. Then, you'd rewrite the code for human compatibility. You use the viral nanites for precise delivery. Critically, you'd build in safety controls, like on-off switches, so you're always in command. And finally, you'd apply these upgrades iteratively, one at a time, to carefully monitor all the effects.
Now, this is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful technologies we can even imagine. And with that kind of power comes immense risk and some very, very profound ethical questions that we absolutely have to start confronting.
The risks here are huge. I mean, what if a nanite went rogue and started to spread? What about devastating side effects we didn't foresee? And maybe the biggest question of all, what happens to society if only the rich can afford to be upgraded? The safeguards have to be developed right alongside the technology. Things like mandatory kill switches, incredibly rigorous testing, and, maybe most importantly, global ethical frameworks to make sure this serves all of humanity.
And this really gets to the heart of it all. A technology that can cure any disease and enhance human potential sounds like a promise of a better future. But if it's not accessible to everyone, it could become the greatest source of division our species has ever known. This is a conversation we need to be having right now, not waiting until the tech is already here.
But when you break it all down, the path forward seems, well, almost inevitable. These are the fundamental truths of modern biology that we now understand. DNA is information. Viruses are couriers. Our cells are programmable. And humanity is, right now, learning how to rewrite itself.
And that leaves us with this really powerful idea. For our entire history, we've been subject to the random lottery of our genes. Soon, we might be the ones holding the pen. The human body could stop being this fixed vessel and become a platform for continuous updates as we become both the authors and the text of our own ongoing creation. What we choose to write, well, that's going to define the future of our species.